Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. You know what? So let's count this as part 4, I would say, of this playlist in here. Don't make approaches or ultimate game. In part 2, or maybe part 3 if I rearrange the order, I was talking about the Buffalo Bulls not hunting lionesses. And there's a reason that I mentioned lionesses in that analogy. When we compare upright behaved women to lionesses, and we compare, as Crimson Cure does, shout out to her, and then we compare the ill behaved broads to hyenas, there's something in that. And that is that we don't even we don't hunt lionesses. I'm talking those good, well behaved women. In the West, we don't hunt them because they have to be in hiding if the hyenas outnumber them. So we don't even pursue them, even if we like them. We don't deny that they have any value as lionesses. But if in the event that they were to come and tell us as these Cape Buffalo Bulls that we are supposed to pursue them, we would say, you must be out your mother cuss word mind to tell us something like that. So what this means is that if you understand that while they can be spoken to, they can be met, they can be treated well, and it can even be allowed the opportunity to marry us and marry you, I should say, and sharing your resources. That does not mean that we turn around and run after them. And if we don't run after even them, then how much less should you be running after and pursuing a hyena? I left that part for this recording. It is not your job. As a lion, it's not your job really to chase after the lioness. Your job is to get the territory. You are not the four-legged lion on the savannah. You are the two-legged corollary or parallel to that lion. Your job is to just get the territory, get the prey, things like that. Get your life set up as best you can. And then the pride of the ladies will wander in your territory or wander through it anyway. You may not even know that they did, but when your paths cross, you can set up your own pride or not. But you must know, you must understand and remember that the hyena wants you, though you were actually more like that Cape Buffalo Bull that does not have to go around picking fights with any other species in order to eat. You are more like that Cape Buffalo Bull that does not have to really be predatory just to live. You just got to be ready to use your horns to puncture the predators. Lift them up, toss them some, throw them around a little bit. And if it is not your job to go and pursue the lionesses, then it is not your job to go and pursue the hyenas at all. If anything, the smell of the hyena should be enough to make you decide to go the other way. They cannot take you down. In part 2, or if it becomes part 3, I talked about how you're like this Cape Buffalo Bull that no particular number of lionesses can take down in under an hour. And 2 male lions would need luck to take you down, and you would still be the last meal they eat because you would leave them unsuitable, unfit to go and hunt another meal ever. You are more like that. In real life, it is not the lionesses that come to you and tell you that it is your job to hunt. It is the lionesses and the hyenas that come and tell you that it is your job to hunt. You are the Cape Buffalo Bull. It is not your job to hunt. You toss hunters with your horns. You trample them. You kick them. And sometimes you even set traps for hunters because they hunt. It is both of them that'll come to you and tell you this. Now, the lioness that comes to you and tell you this might actually believe it. The hyena might come to you and tell you this, actually believing it. One, because they don't see themselves as what they actually are, just like you don't see yourselves as what you actually are and what you compare to. Do not make the mistake of even so much as not telling these young brothers. Just not telling them right now is enough of a mistake to make and to avoid. Don't even make that. Let them young cats know, man, look, you do not need to be out here chasing. And it's one thing to like them, but you don't need to be out here chasing and pursuing. Now, this is where it's going to get sticky because a lot of them are going to say, so you're going to tell your daughter that she needs to go after the man she wants. I'm going to tell my daughters actually, that they got two choices. They can sit back and wait for someone to show up at the door, but they better not go after everything else in life that they want. They better not treat everything else in life that they want like it's valuable, like it's worth their pursuit. Then turn around and treat the men in the life that they want like they're worth less than worthless. And you have to sit and wait for them to come and make the approach. I'm gonna say no, see, because now what you're saying is that the men aren't valuable. Well, you set your own self up to think that if a man does come to see you, why would you want him? Because you done already told yourself that their default worth is negative. You done already set up and said that. You done told yourself that. Your other option is that you can go and at least open a conversation with this man. You can ask him if he'd like to meet me and if he gives you an answer. Or you can ask me to ask him if he'd like to meet you and me. And he gives me an answer. It's up to him. This is how that's going to work. I'm already telling my daughters when we have that discussion, this is how that's going to work. If you pursue everything else in life that you want because it's your goal, then you better not underestimate the value of a good husband and refuse to do anything to try to get that. A man, especially in the West, has a right to refuse to do anything trying in the direction of trying to get a lady, whether it's just to bounce on top of her or to marry. He has the right to refuse that in the West because that's what the West has become. It's become that environment that justifies that. They made it that way. Not the men, but the ladies. They have that right. My son has that right. He didn't make the environment this way. He was born into it. My daughters didn't make it this way. They were born into it. But my son is the one that has been told, he belongs to the gender that has been told, stay your butt away. You're not a man if you never try and you never make the approach, but you stay your butt away when you feel like making the approach because our whole mental health depends on us telling you no. No, shuck that fit. This is what they brought about. It's like in the Jack Reacher movies. Remember, you wanted this. But I use the lionesses so that you would understand that even the lioness, as Crimson Cure defines them, cannot come to you in the West and say to you, it's your job to pursue. No, if she comes and tells you that, you say to her, pursue what? Us, where are you? And even if you're a lioness, how are we supposed to know that that's even okay? Because you're telling me that that's my job as a guy. But when are you going to go and tell the hyenas to fuck the shuck up about being approached and tell them that that is, it's okay as men and that one approach doesn't make us wrong? When are you going to tell them that? Even if the hyenas outnumber the lionesses, at some point the lionesses are going to have to stand up to them. And really, one of the best ways for the lionesses to stand up to them is to do what the hyenas are doing. See, while the hyenas are sitting up, remember this, while the hyenas are telling lionesses, okay, girl, you're too good. You shouldn't be doing this. Girl, you're too good for him. You too good for him, and you too good for him. Girl, if he comes at you, you shouldn't be saying yes. You damn sure shouldn't be trying to make a play for any of them. You shouldn't be shooting no shots. He's a guy. He's worth less than worthless. Don't ever shoot a shot at him. Don't do that. Now, if he's just a no good ninja with nothing but height and the looks and some good ding-a-ling and maybe some other baby mamas, then you can shoot your shot at him. But don't shoot your shot at the more deserving. Don't do that. And while the hyenas are telling the lionesses this, later on the hyenas come along and they start making approaches and shooting their shot when they become shot themselves. When they've been shot by their own decisions, they start shooting their shots. Meanwhile, the lionesses, because they're poised and dignified and they're lionesses, see themselves as too good for this. And they got to sit there and watch these dudes either stay single or fall for hyenas because, hey, we don't know that's a hyena until we get closer. And that's the one shooting their shot. And remember, we're not allowed to, and you never spoke up for the men's right to shoot a shot. You never told the hyenas to fuck the shuck up and stop sending out mixed messages, and that shooting a shot once does not make you wrong. It doesn't constitute harassment. So when I call you the Cape Buffalo Bull, what I'm saying to you is that you are above hunting and pursuing the lioness or let alone the hyena. And that's not to even devalue the lioness below her actual value. It just means that damn sure in the West, that value does not extend to you needing to pursue her. The cat's out the bag. All puns intended. We now understand that you are the prize. Unless you're irresponsible and she takes care of you, you're the prize. And truth be told, as a Muslim, every time I look at the story of how Khadijah went after Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it becomes more and more and more and more relevant. She was older. She was wealthier. She was not an orphan. None of these things. She wasn't younger. Where was a hypergamy? And that is the marriage that is exemplary for us. His marriages to his other women were lessons. They're like baseline lessons. Well, since the women are going to act this way, no offense to these ladies, but that's the truth of the matter. The example of how to act towards your husband is Khadijah. And what did she do? She went after him. Now she sent someone to ask him why he wasn't married. She did exactly what it is that even lionesses say that a wife should not do for the husband. Before he was a prophet. So when they start saying to us Muslim men, well, y'all ain't no prophets, that's very true. But when he wasn't a prophet, we have an example. And her example towards him supersedes the examples of the other prophets towards their wives. It abrogates it. It was not made mandatory for every woman to go after the man she wants until the women of today started to say that it's wrong for the men to go and make any efforts. Now it is mandatory situationally, not revelationally, because that's what they chose. But hey, since that's what they chose, there is still a solution for them, and that is exactly what the hell Khadijah did. She didn't wait till she was 40, according to many historical sources, just 28. He was 25. She was wealthy. He ain't had no money. He worked for her. Both of them of what was considered to be noble lineage, but his parents were gone from his childhood. Dad died before his birth. Mom died when he was 6. He grew up as an orphan. She didn't. Where's the hypergamy? Yeah, see, let that be a lesson. And even amongst us as Muslims, when these ladies say, well, you ain't the prophet, we're not supposed to be prophets at all. Prophecy's closed. Khadijah didn't have to be a prophetess. She was a person. She was a regular run-of-the-mill person that was not receiving revelation. She got wisdom, but not revelation. So in reality, it is far more realistic for women today to behave like Khadijah than it is for us to behave like any prophet, anyone that received revelation from God, because we never will. Not while we're awake. So you see, when they say we're not prophets, yeah, we're not supposed to be. But why are you not more like Khadijah? Because you can be. You just won't. So, Bull, no pursuits, certainly not in the West. And I would dare say, at this point, I'm beginning to wonder if I should start telling you, don't make pursuits anywhere. Hope that what I said is a benefit. Thank you for listening. As always, black heart, black mind, black out. Assalamu alaikum, black heterosexual non-select male power because they don't like it, and black patriarchy until extinction of judgment day.